This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, here we are, February. Well, technically here, it's February the 2nd,
Well,
2022.
still the first year.
I'm 4 hours ahead of you.
Yep, I know.
Yeah, I am 4 hours ahead of you.
Where exactly are you at?
I'm in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada.
Aha, very cool, very cool.
You know where that is?
Yes, I do. Yes, definitely.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you this, a little story. I did a tribute to Rowdy Roddy Piper, and I had his daughter and his son, Colt and Ariel, on here. I'm still in touch with Ariel, and she's a hoot. But in the book that they wrote on their dad, I was surprised to find out that the match between Roddy Piper and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 8 was planned in a restaurant in Moncton, New Brunswick. I was like, how cool is that?
That is really cool.
Yep.
I need to look at this book because
Yep.
I met Roddy a few times and I knew his son as well from Portland Wrestling.
I
So yeah,
envy you. I'm a huge Piper fan. That was the closest I come to crying about a celebrity death was when Piper passed.
yeah, definitely. He was a really cool guy, really nice guy. He was very welcoming when he found out that anybody else is in the wrestling business. He's just immediately welcoming to you, which you don't see that very often with a lot of the big names. But when you do, it's really cool. Like guys like Honky Tonk Man was like that.
Okay.
Um, Demolition, I was on the road with
Oh,
them.
I
They were like
love
that.
Demolition. Yeah,
Oh
love
man,
Demolition. Did the
cool
Honky Tonk
guys.
Man hit you with a guitar?
No, actually, didn't get to do that. I asked, but the promoter was like, no, that's me tonight. So I was like, all right, well, I guess you're the one who's paying his way, so it is what it is.
So you wrestled the Honky Tonk Man. Actually, before we get into that, I should introduce you. Here we are talking, but folks, I have a wrestler sent my way through the beautiful My Bloody Valentine actress, Ellen Udy, who's been on here a couple of times, and sent my way Mr. Ronnie Angel. Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
Ronnie.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. And especially thank you to Elaine for hooking us up. That was really cool of her. Elaine's really awesome.
Oh, I love her, Elaine. When are you gonna wrestle her? My money's on her, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way I could beat that.
She
They,
walks
they
on
just need to book
stilts.
it. Yeah, they just need to book it. Maybe she might strangle me with a hula hoop. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I love her. She's awesome, and
I'm actually coming to you from her house right now.
oh, I wonder if
Yeah,
she'll pop
yeah,
in.
I'm actually renting a room from her. That's how I know her.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I love Ellen UD. Yeah. She did something really cool. I don't know if I showed this. She did the Doubt Fire Face challenge for suicide and depression awareness.
I heard about that. I didn't get to see it yet, but I heard about it.
Yeah, she took a pie in the face, and I thought that was so cool. And she said she's open to doing it again. So I'm like, yeah, especially
She was
since.
asking me about doing it actually.
Well, I felt so bad because I'm a co-producer on 13 Fanboy, and
Oh, very nice.
I was hoping to get some of the bigger names in that involved with this.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron Sloan did do it, and Lar Park Lincoln's planning to do it, but the refusal I got out of Judy Aronson pissed me off.
Really?
Because she at first said she was going to do it. I sent it to her on Cameo, and due to the pandemic, she couldn't, which I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
But she said she was so jealous that Ron Sloan did it, but she didn't know she got nominated. So she promised she'd do it after the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So last year at Thanksgiving, I threw it out to her again. I didn't know whether the pandemic thing, blah, blah, blah. And her response was just disheartening to me. She said that, she knows she said she's going to do it, but now she doesn't feel right about, like, why wouldn't you feel right about something to do with suicide and depression? And then she
That's
asked me
too
to
bad.
withdraw my request. And I'm like, this comes, and I'm somebody who put like $3,000 into that movie, which I'm pretty sure she got paid well.
Oh, wow. Man,
So
that's cool.
I withdraw my request, but I'll also withdraw my presence at any con that she's at too.
That's too bad, man.
So I'm not too pleased with Judy right now, and I'm not even sure if I can even watch 13 Fanboy the same anymore. And I've got my name on that, but
I'm
I'm
sure it's still good though.
huh?
I'm sure it's still good though.
I don't know.
I
I'm pissed at her. I'm pissed at her.
No, that's too bad.
She was recommended to me by Ted White, who played Jason in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And she was in that, and she
I
was
met
high.
Ted. He's pretty cool.
I love Ted White. I got a hockey mask signed by him, a Jason hockey mask signed by him.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I always love that story about him on the set with Judy.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to another podcast, she seems to deny it.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
If you listen to the guy, it's called Splat from the Past. The guy is
Yes.
Tommy Kovac. Tommy had interviewed her.
I've been on his show before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a few years ago.
Tommy's done very well for himself. This is not against him, but Judy pretty much said the very opposite of what was not only said by Ted White, but what was going on through Crystal Lake Memories in the Peter Imbracki documentary. So
That's weird.
yeah,
Huh. I wonder why.
I don't know, but let's just say I'm not in favor with her right now.
That's too
Yep.
bad.
Yep. But I'll tell you something cool that did happen when I was at work last night. I got a response on Cameo, and I didn't know this person was on Cameo, except for somebody from 13 Fanboy got a cameo from her. And it was Lauren Marie Taylor from Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Oh, yeah, Vicky.
Yeah, and I didn't even know she was on Cameo. So I threw the Doubtfire challenge at her. And I was at work cleaning and my phone dinged. I got an email. So I just kind of took a break and looked at it. And lo and behold, she did the challenge.
Oh, nice.
She
Very
did
cool.
the challenge. She did what Judy Aronson was too prideful to do, And yeah, if she hears this, I don't care. I'm pissed at her. I put $3,000 into that movie. So you want a wrestling match?
There you go.
I won't lay down for her. I'll tell you that. Nope. I'm not happy with her. And she could say what she wants to, but I'm not happy with her. But Lauren Marie Taylor did. And I love the fact that Lauren didn't ask a bunch of questions. She knew what it was. She knew what the theme was. She knew and she did it. There's no money coming to me. And speaking of wrestling, there's some people in the wrestling industry that did it. Ariel did it. Roddy's daughter.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
She did it on my birthday because that's what I pitched to her.
Nice. That's awesome.
James Ellsworth did it.
Yes. I remember him.
Yeah. And Tori Wilson did it.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Tori was really cool about it. Again, didn't ask a bunch of questions. Like I remember I threw it out to the vampire woman there, Ariel the vampire woman that was in WWE.
Oh, Shelly
Yeah,
Martinez.
not happy with her either. She was another one of these ones that didn't want to do it. She wanted to do a cameo where she talked about it. And I'm like, nobody wants to see that.
They want to see pie in the face. Pie in the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. I mean, people didn't talk about ALS. My dad's got it, had it for 8 years. So people had to see the ice bucket. I find it funny with what's trending today online. It's like when the ALS ice bucket challenge happened, I thought was so inspiring. Everybody was coming together and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found out about Doubtfire Face, I was like, good, this is more my kind of humor, you know? I grew up on that Nickelodeon stuff. I just loved it. And especially the pie in the face was always a favorite. And
definitely.
I always find it funny that if one thing succeeds, something else can't, you know? But yeah, I look online and I see what people are challenging each other to do, like eat Tide Pods, stuff like that. And I'm like,
oh God, yeah.
Society is dumb.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
has gotten a lot dumber. I mean, I guess I can't really say a lot because I was in high school around the Jackass years, so I was inspired by that, and I still remember me and my friends chugging Jack and Jaeger and deciding to it'd be a good time to walk downtown while shooting Roman candles at each other and shoving each other into traffic. And yeah, yes, one of my friends still has that on tape, and I'm still waiting to see it again, unless he erased it because it's evidence. I don't know. But yeah, we had a lot of stupid times when I was in high school. I don't even know how I'm still alive, honestly.
Well, you know, I've through that challenge, and Ellen Udy is out to do it. She said she'd do it again. I'm like, okay, okay.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do it with her.
Yeah, absolutely. You can nominate 3 people on Cameo. I don't have enough characters where I can tell people to nominate 3 people. So, but you're allowed to nominate 3 people. So if you know anybody in either in the industry, even the wrestling industry, you throw it out to, you go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm game whenever she does it.
Yeah. But no, Tori Wilson did it, and she was great. She was awesome. You know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But no, Shelly Martin has turned it down, and I'm like, and I was like, you know, I'm not giving you money to sit there and talk about it because it sounds fake. It's like, you know, you're basically putting on an act about something you really, as far as I'm concerned, they really don't care about. When Laura Marie Taylor or Tori Wilson goes ahead and they just do it, they know exactly what they're being asked to do. They get it, and they have a sense of humor for it. It tells me a lot about who they are. It tells me everything I need to know. See, Laura Marie Taylor, I'll go meet at a con. I'll buy off her table and everything, you know? So, but Judy was a disappointment, and it's heartbreaking because her Friday the 13th film is one of my favorites. So, but thankfully, I've interviewed Ted White, and he was awesome. So,
nah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yep.
I do remember I went to a screening of it when I first moved here to LA, and she was there. The twins were there. The director Joe Zito was there, and so was Lawrence Monason, the one that played Teddy.
Oh, you mean the dead fuck?
No, not the dead fuck, but the
no. If you watch The Last American Virgin,
yes.
He has trouble with women in both of those movies. So it's like he goes from The Last American Virgin, being a virgin, and he goes to Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and has no better luck, and he dies in it. So I'm like, he's a dead fuck.
What's funny is that I actually got to talk to him about Last American Virgin,
Yeah.
and I got to live out one of the things that I said I was going to do for years.
What?
Excuse me. That I was going to go up to him and say, "You son of a bitch, you made me cry in that movie," which is true. And uh, he was um, he was pretty cool about it. He was almost like a psychologist. He's like, "Really? Why don't you have a seat?" Wanted to hear all about it, and I thought that was really cool. I don't
Yeah.
think that he's as into Friday the 13th because there was when we were at the screening, he just seemed kind of dismissive, and while everybody else stayed and signed autographs, he just like walked right past us and was like, "Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom." And then a few minutes later, somebody said, "Yeah, well, Teddy's left the building because he just took off." So I don't know. Maybe he's not as into that movie for one reason or another.
Do you know who you want to talk to from Last American Virgin? Is Joe Rubu.
Yeah, yeah. I
I've had
remember
him
him.
on. I've had him on here twice. Talk about a great guy. He'd be cool to meet.
Well, the coolest one was I got to meet Crispin Glover, and I got to talk with him about that and a
Is
few
he a
other
dead
things.
fuck?
you know, he he was really into everything, and I wrote an article about that, and I said something like, Crispin's been called many things, and like weirdo, eccentric,
I like
you know,
him.
so and so. And I said that after talking with him for a little while, I have another word for him, and that's genius.
Well, you want
Because
me to tell you something? I've had his dad on here twice.
Bruce
Bruce.
Glover,
Yeah.
very cool.
Bruce at the time was my longest interview. At that time, he's been surpassed. He went 3 hours.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
And
cool.
most of it was him. But he had stories and some very funny stories. And
I
Bruce
would
is
have to ask
great.
him about Night at the Scarecrow.
There you go. I asked him about Chinatown, Diamonds Are Forever, stuff like that, and yeah, I thought that Bruce Glover was great to talk to. I haven't had Crispin on here yet, so I don't know if that'll happen, but I do like Crispin, and
You
certainly
know
Friday.
what?
Huh?
You never know. I mean, he does have his website, and I'm sure if you contact him, because I know that he runs everything, um, and I think maybe if you just promote his movies, then he might be up for it because he's all about promoting his movies that he directed. So I'm pretty sure it's possible.
He's doing something with his dad now. They're
Oh, that's
doing
cool.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know Bruce and I had an interesting talk because my dad's got ALS, and when I first talked to him, he said that I think he said his sister had ALS.
Oh,
And
okay.
that kind of was a little bit of a bonding thing we had. So, but I really like Bruce. I got him on Facebook. He's a pretty cool guy.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
yeah. We got to talk about your shirt though. You got Brit Top on your shirt.
Oh
I
yeah.
I had Alan Ford himself on here. I think that was 2017. I had him on here. Yep.
And that is awesome. I'm honestly a bit jealous of that one. I'm geeking out over that one.
Oh yeah. Go feed
That's
you to the
one of my
pigs.
favorite
Oh
one of my
yeah.
favorite villains ever.
Oh, he's so great in that movie. I was so thrilled to get him on the show when he was in the UK when I interviewed him. That was before Zoom, of course, and but he was great to talk to. Um, I love Snatch, but yeah, he's my favorite part of the movie. He's great
Oh
in it.
God. It's funny. I was in England about 10 years ago,
Uh-huh.
And I remember that one of the friends over there, I asked him about that. I was like, "Hey, have you seen Snatch?" And it was kind of funny because he said, "Don't be vulgar." It's like, no, it's a movie. He's like, "Yeah, I'm sure it is, but no, it's a movie. Snatch, like it's a jewel heist. They're snatching it." And then it finally clicked. He's like, "Oh, okay, I got it now." It's great.
Yeah, well, that is a great shirt. I got a shirt on too. Speaking of wrestling, what we were talking about.
Oh wow.
You know who it is?
Let me see. I do know. What was her name? She was on the Dark Side of the Ring episode.
Yep.
Moolah. Yeah.
She don't like
Princess
Moolah.
Victoria?
Princess Victoria. You got it.
Yes. Yes.
I've had her on twice. She
Oh,
don't like
very cool.
she don't like Hulk Hogan. She definitely doesn't like Vince McMahon, and she doesn't like Moolah.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
But I'll tell
See,
you
I
one, huh?
collect shirts.
There you go.
Got Kramer here. I've got Dean Stockwell from Blue Velvet somewhere
Mm-hmm.
around here. I've got jeez, I
You
got so
better
many
have an
shirts.
Ellie Nudie shirt.
No. I've got a geez,
Shame.
Chuck Norris. I got Soul Glow. What do I got here? I got too many shirts, man. I got way too many shirts.
You're supposed to have an Ellie Nudie shirt.
I'll have to make one. And I don't know if you are familiar with this. Speaking of British things, are you familiar with the League of Gentlemen?
No.
Really? Oh God, it's got to be my favorite British TV show.
When I think
That's
British, I
one you
think
gotta
Monty
check out.
Python. When I
Oh, you
think,
you might like this one.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
I got how did you and Ellen Nudie meet?
It was funny. I actually met her because I was writing my second book
Uh-huh.
and getting interviews for it, and I was just going all out to get my interviews. I was just like looking up everybody on Facebook, and that Facebook helped me out a lot actually with that, and just trying to brainstorm, like people from Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine, you name it when it comes to slasher
Well,
movies.
I got
And
I got text here.
yeah,
I got to share with you then. Because one of the films I'm a producer on, co-producer on, is Victim No More, which is a
oh
Friday
yeah, I
the
heard about
13th
that
film,
one.
directed by Bobby Heckman.
I know Bobby.
Yes, you do. He
Yeah,
said
Bobby's a good guy.
Ronnie Angel is a great guy. Ask about his horror review books. He wrote real fun stuff.
Actually, give me just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Sure. Ronnie Angel has left the room. And here he comes back. So you review, because I review movies as well.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
That's part two, Slash Dreams Part Two.
Okay.
And the first book, I would show you that, but I just recently did a wrestling event this last weekend, and I sold all of them. So now I have to order more. So hopefully
So
by the
what?
time the next show rolls around, I'll have some more.
So what are both books about? That one.
Both of the books are about slasher movies, and the first one is the ultimate guide to slasher movies. And I think I have about 350 movie reviews in it. So I
I
cover.
want to buy them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to hook you up with that. Well, I'll send you a link, or we can figure something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the first one, I actually had my debut down here, Delicacies in Burbank,
Yep.
and I didn't even see the book until I flew down from Seattle to do the signing. And yeah, I mean, it was huge. And then the owner of the store, Dell, really awesome guy. He's really huge in the horror scene down here. But he is telling me that he could rob a bank with my book because it's like a weapon. It's a big one. The first one's like 500 pages. This one is, oh God, how many pages is that? Oh, 416 pages. So yeah,
I would
the first
be.
one.
Is the second one just the first one updated, or?
No. It's kind of funny how it came about. Actually, I'll tell you how both of them came about.
Okay.
I was working at a convention up in Seattle called Crypticon,
Okay. Yep.
and I was their announcer for about 5 years.
Okay.
And I was also a panelist, and I hosted a lot of the Q&As, moderated them, and did the panels. And I just remember coming out one time, and somebody told me, wow, you really know your stuff. You should write a book or something. I was like, huh, write a book. So I thought about it, and I wrote a book. And then that one, it did really well. So I there was a YouTuber who reviewed my book, and he was saying something like, it's a good book. It's a really good book, but it's not a great book because you're missing like oh, this movie from 1983 or this movie from 1987. And finally I was like, all right, I'll write another book, I guess. And I started getting interviews for it. And I think my first interview was Russell Todd from
I've had
Friday the
him on.
13th Part 2. What's that?
I've had him on here.
Awesome guy.
Yeah.
Really awesome guy. I think he was my first interview. And I met up with him at a coffee shop in Burbank, and he brought like the original script from Friday the 13th Part 2, and I was like looking through it, and it just rolled from there. I ended up getting about oh God, over 50 interviews. I had to look.
Who
Yeah,
all have you
over 50
interviewed for it?
interviews. What's that?
Who all have you interviewed for it?
Okay, let me go down the list here.
Yeah.
Linnea Quigley.
I've had her on. I've met her too.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Kane Hodder,
Mm-hmm.
Dean Cameron, Tommy Lee Wallace, Adam Marcus.
I've had him
Um,
on.
yeah, he's awesome.
Secret
Nathan,
Santa is something you need to see.
I have seen it. Yeah,
Love
I
it.
saw it when it first came out.
Love it.
I've got Nathan Basil, who is Leslie Vernon on Behind the Mask,
Uh-huh.
another really awesome person to talk to. Um, Jordan Ladd from Cabin Fever. They I was down here at Days of the Dead promoting the first book, and they actually gave me a table next to Jordan Ladd.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire weekend I hung out with her and got her in this book. And Tom D. Simone, the director of Hell Night,
Yep, had him
Jack
on last
Shoulder.
year. Yeah.
He actually used to live down the street from me in Palm Springs when I lived there. Yeah, very cool guy. Jack Shoulder, the director of Alone in the Dark,
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Maroney, Russell Todd,
I love
Robert
Kelly
Ray
Maroney.
Schaefer, Psycho Cop, um, about 5 people from The Burning, 3 people from Creepshow 2, um,
I've
one,
never
two,
had
three,
anybody.
four.
I've never had anybody from Burning yet.
Yeah. I had Larry Joshua, Shelley Bruce, Ned Eisenberg, Brian Matthews. There's got to be one more in there too.
What was it
But
like meeting Kelly Maroney? I like her.
She's awesome. Yeah, everybody is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody that gave me the time to talk to and do interviews with, everybody was really cool. And I mean, there's so many good interviews in this, and I even have some that are very obscure,
Uh-huh.
and that's what I like. I like the more obscure movies. Like right here is Ron Kaloji from, I don't know if you've ever seen Ice.
Nope.
It's a winter slasher movie, and it has Lisa Loring in it, Wednesday Addams.
I just met her last um, fall.
That's cool. I would have asked her about Ice.
She gave me her number right there, but I don't think she has Zoom,
Oh, okay.
because I'm like, I used to do these at the station, but I kind of like this where I could just do these at my apartment and not have to call to see if the station uh,
Mm-hmm.
time is available. But yeah, I met her at Frightmare in the Falls, and so cool to meet, and I didn't have to have my mask on around her. She was really cool.
Was that Texas Frightmare?
Nope, Frightmare in the Falls at Niagara
Oh,
Falls. Yeah.
yeah. I've never been there, and I've always wanted to go to Niagara Falls. In fact, I went to Chiller back in about yeah, back in October, and me and my girlfriend went, and it was my first time on the East Coast, and it was in New Jersey, and it is funny because it turned out that the reason why we went there for the convention was not the reason for the trip after all. Like it turned into, we spent half the day at Blairstown where they filmed the original Friday the 13th, and then we went to the Statue of Liberty, had dinner right by it. So that in itself was the experience, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's a convention too. So spent a few hours there. It was fun, but the experience was more worth it.
I'll give you a tip though when it comes to interviews. When somebody has passed away, I do tribute interviews. I've had
Okay.
I've had Alfred Hitchcock's granddaughter on the show. I've had Audrey Hepburn's eldest son on the show.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I did 3 tributes on Ray Harryhausen, who made, of course, Clash of the Titans and movies like that, with somebody that worked closely with him. I've done
That's cool.
5 tributes on a woman I found so captivating. She was stunning. I interviewed the widow of Zoe Tamerlas Lund of Miss 45.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, her widow, actually, he's edited some videos for me. I'm still in touch with him, but Zoe died way too young. And I love Ms. 45. And so I had her widow on 5 times.
It's not a
So
movie to take somebody on a first date to, though. I learned that.
I
Actually,
cap.
the movie was sold out, luckily, and it was funny because I'd never seen it before,
Uh-huh.
and I was thinking, well, this would be a good idea for a first date. Go to one of the old movie screenings.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, it was sold out because that was not a good idea for a first date. Go to something like that.
Well, I'll tell you a little story. My first convention, like I lived here my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never been outside New Brunswick, other than maybe Prince Edward Island. Never been outside New Brunswick. And it was 2017, Lisa Langlois from the movie Class of 1984 invited
Yes.
me to assist her at her table at Horrorama in Toronto.
Oh, that's
We,
cool.
we got talking about travel, and she asked what was stopping me. And I'm the only one in my family who's been on a plane. And when Lisa, like, I love Class of 1984, but
Me
when
too. That's one of my favorites.
I've interviewed 5 people from that movie, and Lisa and I are really good friends. And it stemmed from her taking a chance and inviting me to assist her at that con. And it turned out she showed me my Toronto and how to use the subways and streetcars because we don't have them here.
That's really cool.
But you mentioned not thing to take a first date to. It's funny
Class of
because
1984.
nope, nope. This involved Lisa, and it wasn't a date, but one of the people that was at Horrorama was Mink Stoll. And I
I've
met
always
Mink
wanted to
Stoll.
meet her.
Yeah, I met Mink Stoll. And there was
Mainly
the
for
after
Serial Mom.
party. Yeah. The after party was what they call the Filthy Cabaret, which he was going to sing at. And Carl Zitier, who did the music for Black Christmas, was going to play instrument behind her. And then afterwards, we go to the Royal Theater for a screening of Pink Flamingos. And I
Oh
said,
no.
and I said to Lisa, I said, I want to see Pink Flamingos. You want to go to Pink Flamingos? She said, sure. Anyway, there, Lisa said she had never seen it.
Oh no.
Actually, you want me to tell you her reaction to it? She
Horrified.
she didn't like the movie, but the only thing she said was, Mink looks so young in that movie.
You know, I saw that when I was in high school. It was one of those movies where a friend had me over to watch it, had a few beers, and didn't tell me anything about it. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
Well, you want me to tell you something? Speaking of tribute interviews, I could not get Mink on the show for whatever reason. I mean, I met her, got her autograph, got my picture taken with her, can't get a response. Here's what I did do, though.
Mm-hmm.
I got the son of Cookie Mueller on.
Oh, wow.
You know who she was in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
you want her son Max. You want me to tell you a little trivia?
What's that?
He said that he said he gets a chuckle out of this now. He said he is the baby sold to the lesbian couple
Really?
in the movie. Yeah.
Wow.
He said that is him.
Wow.
He said it's not easy to watch his mom being raped by chickens, mind you,
Yeah, no kidding.
but he refers to John Waters as Uncle John.
Oh, wow. That's
So
great.
yeah, so I couldn't get Mink on, but I was like, you know what, maybe I could do something here, and he was pretty cool to talk to. My favorite John Waters movie is Polyester. I get a kick out of that movie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like how it starts off a smellorama and they show you number one as a rose, like it's gonna play that fair through the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite is probably Pecker, which is an odd choice.
What a weird title for the movie too.
Yeah, that movie's hilarious. So,
I bet it is. I
have you
bet.
seen it? You've never
Oh,
seen
I
it?
haven't seen that one. I,
Yeah.
I was debating. I was thinking, Titanic would have been a much better movie had it starred Divine and Tab Hunter.
Oh, jeez. That'd be something I'd see.
Yeah,
I don't
especially.
know if you've seen it. My favorite movie that Divine did actually was one that a lot of people don't know about, Less Than the Dust.
I've heard of it, haven't seen it. It's a
Oh
western,
man,
isn't it?
yes,
Yeah,
and it's hilarious too. Like
yeah.
it, literally every person that I have ever shown it to loves it, and
Okay.
like I've heard so many people say that it's one of their new favorite movies after watching it for the first time.
Did you show it to Ellen Udy?
No, no, I've shown it to a lot of people though. So I mean, everybody seems to like it, and it's one of the more obscure ones. And like I was saying earlier, those are the movies that I really go for, the really obscure ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I was saying about that one interview that I did.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the movies, one of the slasher movies that that actor did was a movie called Cards of Death,
Okay.
which is pretty much one of the most obscure movies on the planet. And very, very few copies are out there. I think that some company picked it up and they did like retro VHS releases of it, but those ones are out of print now and is off of just like one copy that somebody found in Japan, and very obscure. And then you watch it and you're like, wow, this is like Saw, like 20 years before Saw, and it's interesting. It's hard to find a copy, but if you find a copy, I say definitely give it a watch.
Yeah.
And some of these reviews in the second book are, I kind of go into some of the more obscure movies because I kind of tied up loose ends with all the reviews in the second book.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I've got movies like Witch Story, Zombie Island Massacre, Slash Dance, Sledgehammer, Savage Water, Shadows Run Black. A lot of really
I've heard of
obscure ones.
Slash Dance. I've heard of that.
I interviewed the director, and even he was not a fan of that movie. And I've got a list non-slasher slashers, 10 to Midnight,
Mm-hmm.
Cruising,
Yep.
The Deadpool,
Uh,
Nightmare City, Silent Rage.
I've interviewed Randy Jurgensen, who was the one of the real life cops involved with the French Connection, and he was the cop Al Pacino was based upon in Cruising.
Really? That's
Yep.
really cool.
Yep. Yeah. That one's not up yet because that was before I got Zoom, and my brother is the one that gets the MP4s or MP3s ready for YouTube, and he's been taking care of our folks, both of whom are terminally ill. So I haven't got that one up yet. And Randy's in his 80s, and like his son has asked me about the interview, and it's like, I don't know what to do, you know. I'm not tech savvy. I don't know how to get it up there right now, but I've had Ellen UD on a couple times, and I've been very lucky in a lot of ways too. I had Dick Miller on 5 months before he passed.
Yeah, I met him at his I believe it was his 90th birthday party.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was literally about a month before he died. So
Belinda
I'm
Belaski was there because I know she took pictures or something there.
yeah, I'm glad I got to meet him. Speaking of interviews, I almost interviewed Robert Zadar for my first book, but
From Beyond.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
from Maniac Cop,
Okay.
and unfortunately, things kept coming up. Like he was in very bad health at the time, so he had health issues going on, so we never did get to do the interview, and sadly, it was too late. So yeah, but I am glad I got to talk to him at least a little bit. But it was funny you're talking about recording. I tried so many different methods when I was writing the first book. When it came to the interviews, like I tried typing it out as I was talking to somebody. That is not a good idea.
No.
And I even tried shorthanding it and just filling in the blanks later. Um, I tried writing it in a notebook and taking the notes from that. That didn't work. So finally, I just had to get a recorder. And the first interview I did after I got the recorder was is really funny. It was the killer from Don't Go in the Woods.
Okay.
Yeah, have you seen that one?
I've seen it, but like that and don't answer the phone, and a lot of those they run together for me.
Well, Don't Go in the Woods. It's a movie I think I even talked about how it's one of the worst slasher movies ever made. But, and this is a big but, I have seen it. I would have to guess 100 times, legitimately, and it never gets old. Like it is so bad that it is good, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's entertaining.
Kind of like The Room.
Kind of like The Room,
That
yeah,
that
yeah.
was my first interview was Tommy Wiseau.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
I was gonna say too, about just months before she passed away, I had Daria Nicolodi from Deep Red from the Argento movies.
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah. It's kind of funny because I'm always called the slasher expert by a lot of people, and yeah, when it comes to slashers, I do know my stuff. I'll have to say that. Um,
well, I'd be
gr-
open to making a
but
purchase on those two books.
yeah, yeah. But you're mentioning Daria, and it's funny because one of my best friends that I worked with at Crypticon up in Seattle
Mm-hmm.
is the Giallo expert, and I can tell you that sometimes my head spins talking with that guy because you sit down and watch a Giallo movie with him, and he is drawing comparisons from person to person, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, this person was in this movie in 1973, this one in 1971," and I'm just like sitting there like I can't even keep up. Like,
I love Giallo films. I've been lucky. I've had four people on from Suspiria, but there's a few of them that because of language barriers, they'd have a translator and they get back to me on Facebook. Like I tried to get somebody from Tenebrae and another
oh,
Argento movie, and I got a translation that said that they didn't speak English. So I was like, So I'm very lucky I got four people from Suspiria. And I was lucky to get Daria Nicolodi because Daria turned me down the first time I approached her.
oh wow.
Yeah, it was 2016. She was getting tired of going over the seven Dario Argento movies because I guess they had split up and whatnot. And I left it be. And what had happened is that in 2020, Deep Red was coming up on its anniversary. And that to me was her best performance in an Argento movie. So I want, and but I also met Lamberto Bava at
Oh, that's cool.
Horrorama 2019. He was the guest of honor. And he was there, with a lot of the people from the Demons movies. And
Love Demons. That's one of my all-time favorites.
oh yeah, um, I met
Best
people.
pimp ever, Bobby Rhodes.
They'll teach you to touch stuff.
Dude, funny thing that I have to interject here is that I saw Demons at a my friend used to put on Grindhouse screenings
Uh-huh.
in Seattle in Tacoma, and he works at Alamo Drafthouse now, but he played Demons one time, and I gotta tell you that I've never experienced anxiety during a movie, but watching Demons in a movie theater, that kind of set me off a little bit, and I've never had that happen, and I actually had to walk out in a lobby for a minute because it was intense. It was intense, even though I'd seen it before.
You want me to tell you what I found funny? The redheaded usher in the movie was the little girl that put the pin in the lizard in um, Deep Red.
Really now?
I was like, how weird is that?
Wow, that's cool.
But nonetheless, what I was saying about Daria, Lamberto Bava was at Horrorama 2019, and I know he had Daria in a movie. I also know that Daria was in the last film that Mario Bava had directed called Shock, and that was, of course, Lamberto's father.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a different approach to Daria. I approached her on Twitter. I don't usually approach people on Twitter, but I did her. And this is a quote. She said, "This interview will probably not happen." But she indulged me. She let me indulge her. And the key thing was when I was talking about the Bavas. So she told me that she would do the interview on two conditions. She said, one, she wanted to talk about her love for Mario Bava. And number two, and I wasn't even going to get into this, but she suggested it. She wanted to talk about her love for her daughter, Asia Argento.
Oh, okay.
I said, yeah. And she was open to talking about Deep Red for its anniversary, because I did want to talk about the whole cigarette thing she did there with her hands. And I asked her about Suspiria, and I asked her about working with a young Jennifer Connelly and Phenomena, but I kept it very brief.
Monkey with a razor.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
I can't, well, I remember, how can you forget Jennifer Connelly? She's gorgeous, but.
Well, I mean, I remember more, but that's the one that stuck out the most to me was Monkey with a straight razor.
Mm-hmm. You mean ape? Chimps are apes.
Yeah.
Apes don't have tails.
Speaking of which, I actually have an entire category on my first book, and it's called Monkey Madness, and it's got movies like Monkey Shines, Link, Shakma. There's several others in there, but I don't know if you've seen it. Speaking of monkeys or apes, Link is my favorite.
I've never seen that.
Really? Oh man, Link is an amazing movie. Elizabeth Shue terrorized by an orangutan when she's house sitting for a professor.
Oh, orangutans are supposed to be. I never like to think of orangutans as terrorizing people.
Oh no, Link is terrifying in this movie. Like, yeah, you got to look for that one.
Okay.
That's one of my all-time favorites.
But I did have Daria on, and she was very apologetic about turning me down before. And I was so sad when she passed, but I was so glad that I had her on,
That's cool. I'm glad you're able to.
Yeah. But yeah, Link, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, and it's talking about obscure slapper movies. I actually
What, Birdemic? That's not obscure. That's just bad.
Yeah, I
Manos, The Hand of Fate. Yeah, I've interviewed somebody from that.
Oh yeah, I know Jackie.
Yep, I've had her on.
Oh, okay, very cool. I brought this one because I like I said, the obscure ones. And whenever I do an interview, I like to suggest movies. And this one right here.
Fatal Games. I've heard of that. Who's that woman?
Well, I don't even know if she's in the movie.
Okay.
Which is the case back then. But it's a killer with a javelin killing Olympic hopefuls at an Olympic training center.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember I watched this when I was about 12. And it's still kind of terrifying, honestly. Especially because I for several years I worked as a campus security. And I could tell you that when you're on a campus by yourself at night, walking through the corridors and, like down in the basements and everything, Yeah, I thought of this movie a lot because there's a lot of that in there, and it's really good actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that
Well,
movie
that
kind of
sounds like it's
freaked
up
me out when I
by
was working there.
that kind of puts me in mind of Prom Night, where the girl was going through the dark corridors and whatnot. Is it something like that?
Uh, kind of. It's something I just suggest a lot of people watch.
Is it on
And
Blu-ray?
you know what? I don't know if it is on Blu-ray yet,
What year
but
did it come out?
1984.
Ah,
And I'll tell you something funny about it. Um, like I said, when I was working campus security overnight, nobody's ever on the campus.
uh-huh.
It's just me. So I decided, well, nothing ever happens here. It's a small town. I'm just going to do whatever at night. It doesn't matter. And there's a gym there. So I decided, well, I'm going to work out at night. So
Uh-huh.
I remember I worked out and I was like, okay, well, then I could take a shower and then I'll put my uniform back on and head back out on patrol. That was the last time I ever did that because I don't know if you can imagine taking a shower in an abandoned school in the lower level in the basement at 2 in the morning. Um, that's something that'll turn you off pretty quick.
Kind of like uh Slaughter
Like I,
High.
yeah, exactly. It was like I was in a slasher movie. If I was in a slasher, then I would have been the first one killed. So last time I ever did that.
Speaking of Slaughter High, I've had Caroline Monroe on here. She was also a maniac.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, very cool.
I had her on. I've had Veronica Carlson on here. They're both Hammer girls. One of my favorite. I had Nancy Allen on last year. I wanted to talk about Dress to Kill so bad. I love
Oh
Dress to
yeah,
Kill.
you know Bill Randolph was in that, right? From Friday the
Yeah,
13th Part Two.
I've got to get him on here. I got him on Facebook, and I've never had him on here yet. And that was my favorite kill in the movie was the shish kebab scene, which of course came from, speaking of Jallo, Twisted the Death Nerve, Bay of
Oh
Blood.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep, exactly.
yeah,
And same with the machete to the face as well.
mm-hmm,
Or no,
yeah.
not a machete, cleaver. Sorry.
Well, of course, I don't know if you review zombie films, but you like wrestling. Did you see Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies?
No, but one of my friends just gave me what's the name of that movie? Wrestle Massacre. And one of my friends is in that movie. Actually, is one of the leads in that movie. And somebody who I used to wrestle with back in Seattle. And it's kind of funny because we both went separate ways, yet we both ended up in the acting business. So it's kind of funny going from wrestling to doing that.
Well, Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies, directed by Cody Knox. I've had him on here twice, and it's
I
about
know
some
Cody.
Cody's a great guy. Well, it's about somebody whose brother was killed in the ring. And of course, the guy who was wronged, he was evil to begin with, and he conjures up some kind of spell um, where this prison is filled with zombies, and he wants revenge on Shane Douglas. So he has this busload of
Dean
wrestlers
Douglas.
that are brought to this prison, but they find out only too late that they're not there to wrestle. They're there to be sacrifices to the zombies. So
Kind
you
of
got,
want to see this now.
well, the lead role is Rowdy Roddy Piper, and yes, he hits a zombie with a coconut,
Oh, that's awesome.
and you
I'll
get
have to
this.
watch that.
You got Kurt Angle doing the ankle lock on a zombie and ripping his foot off.
Wow. Yeah,
Um,
I got to see that now.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan is in it. He was supposed to have Terry Funk, but Terry Funk is in the Screen Actors Guild. Terry Funk would have been perfect for this kind of thing.
Terry, I met him once, and I remember it was in Vegas. I was with a guy named Johnny Obsession,
Uh-huh.
and we ran into him in the lobby of the casino, and he asked us, "You boys staying out of trouble?" And I said, "Hell no." He said, you good kids. I like you."
I like Terry. Oh, Matt Hardy's in this movie as well, and I hate to give anything away, but he does get ripped in half.
Oh, that's great.
Poor Matt Hardy doesn't make it, but you can tell that he's having fun.
You know what? And I'm sure that and this is what I ran into doing movies as well,
Uh-huh.
is that you're already basically being a stuntman when you wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that stuff comes naturally. And like I did a mob movie about, well, when I first moved here to California about
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in my death scene, when I got shot, I would launch myself backwards against the wall and roll down the stairs. And the gun would go flying and everything. And people would ask me, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'd be like, I'd just get up. "Yeah, I'm fine." But the bad part was I was watching some of the other guys' death scenes after that. And when they would get shot, they would just gently fall to the carpet. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, I'm killing myself for my death scene. And these guys are just gently falling to the carpet.
You're Terry Funking it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. And all of my movies are like that. Like I I do my own stunts and a lot of them. And I actually wanted to be a stuntman when I first moved out here to LA because I thought it'd be a natural transition. But when you actually think about it and you watch some of the movies and some of the stunts that some of these guys do, um, especially from talking with Kane Hodder, then you realize wrestling is easy compared to some of the stunts that these guys do. So like some of those, as far as like being a professional stuntman, I would leave that to them. Wrestling is enough. But whenever it comes to the movies that I do, um, as long as it's not, getting dragged by a car or something crazy like that, yeah, I'll do it.
We'll talk about your movies in a minute, but let's talk about some wrestling because you know what? I still got a
Yeah.
big bag full of LJNs.
Oh, that's cool. I hope you
Remember
have SD
those?
Jones in there.
Huh?
Yes, definitely.
SD Jones?
Yeah. Special Delivery Jones.
You mean the guy that never won? The
Exactly.
guy that got beat by King Kong Bundy in such short order?
Yep. I know that they made a figure for him.
I've got one in here.
Oh, that's cool.
This is the greatest champion ever, as far as I'm concerned.
Who do we got there? Is that Bruno?
Bruno Sammartino.
Oh yeah, Bruno.
Did you meet him?
Never did. No, no.
I'm
It's
a
funny because
yeah.
yeah, I've got to meet a bunch of names over the years and wrestle with a few, but for the most part, I've just kind of done my own thing, tried to build up my own name, and it's funny because I actually wrestled in Canada for about 5 years straight. Oh, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I have got two of
Nice.
them, but no kilt.
Oh
No,
wow.
I got articulated ones where he has kilt, but I've been trying to collect these. I like these. So
That's
yeah,
really cool.
Piper's my favorite. Here's another favorite of mine too.
Oh, we got there. Hunky?
Nope.
It's kind of hard to see. Is it Jake?
It's Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Now, Honky Tonk Man was his WrestleMania 3 opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah. WrestleMania 3 to me is the greatest WrestleMania ever. It's never been topped, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. That and 6.
6 was really good, but I would have. There's two things I would have done. I would have had Jake get a pinfall win on the $1 Million Man as opposed to a count out, because I think it would have elevated that match better. And number two, I know Andre was in poor health, but when they attacked Demolition at the beginning, I would have had them dispatch Haku and work on Andre a little bit so Andre had some ring time. And then when Andre got in control, then Andre tags in Haku, then Haku does the rest of the match until Haku is pinned. You know,
Andre was very limited at that point though, so he couldn't really do a whole lot. And yeah, I think that was actually one of his last matches in the WWF, anyways.
Yeah.
There's some of the people I wish I could have met like him. Oh, there we go. Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
Very cool.
Terry Funk.
Some of the guys that I wish I could have met were inspirations for me, like Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig, especially. And I actually do one of Kurt Hennig's signature moves, kind of as a tribute to him in all my matches, with the snap over the guy.
Remember this guy?
Outback Jack.
Outback Jack, you remember? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I know all these. Yeah,
well, if
I grew up watching it.
If you're a wrestler, there's only one way you can prove it.
What's that?
You have to be humbled. Has he ever put you in the camel clutch and made you humble?
Can't say that he has.
You jabroni. You jabroni.
I love hearing Sheik stories, though.
I bet.
Like, I've heard quite a few over the years, and wish I could have been on the road with him. That would have been fun.
We just lost this guy.
Who are we looking at right there? Oh, Orndorff.
Paul Orndorff.
Nice.
Yep. Here's one of my favorites. This guy here, I can watch wrestle all day.
Steamboat.
Yeah, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, yeah.
He is one of the best.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And speaking of Andre, I have an Andre.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I actually saw that recently at somebody's table at a convention. Didn't pick it up, but I should have. George the Animal Steel. Nice.
Mine. I bet Alan Udy would like George the Animal Steel. Don't you think?
Probably. He's a fun guy to watch. Adrian Adonis.
Boy, you're good.
You know what?
Good.
You know what? With Adrian, it's fun to go back and watch his matches because he wasn't in very good shape when he was in the WWF in those later years. But if you watch, like, for example, WrestleMania 2, his match, that guy could bump like crazy. He could make people look great out there.
Well, I don't think there was much you could do. There wasn't much you could do with Uncle Elmer to make him look good.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, he really sold everything. Like him and Harley Race were probably the best when it came to that.
Harley Race was, I think, the first to slam Andre the Giant.
I think so.
He's either him or Inoki, one or the other.
Yeah, I remember Kamala did too.
Yep.
I think that was more towards the WWF taking off though and going national. Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. When I was in Zambia years ago, because I was in Africa for about a month,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I remember when people would find out that I was a wrestler, they were like blown away by it.
Yeah.
And I remember one guy used to come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're like Macho Man Randy Savage. Can I give you my elbow?" It's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, they're all about it there. Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog. Boy, you know your stuff.
Oh yeah,
You know your stuff.
wrestling and slasher movies, or
Well,
horror in general. Those are
I
the two
love it.
things.
If you go on to Random Treasures, they can do
Mm-hmm.
customs. I got this one done.
Who am I looking at? I'm not sure who I'm looking at there. Is it Luger?
Nope. Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
Hennig.
Yeah. Boy,
There we go. Okay,
you're supposed to have the
a little
perfect
bit hard to
answer.
see.
He's
Yeah, okay.
absolutely perfect. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They did, the Random Treasures did that, and they're doing a few of them. So it wasn't cheap, but I got it. In fact, even AEW came out with this.
Oh, very cool.
They did a Cody Rhodes, you know.
Yes, yes, funny. When I was growing up, I was always more into the heels than the faces, baby faces. I was always into the bad guys more, and that's my inspiration. Kamala.
Kamala.
Very cool.
I heard Kamala was a really nice guy.
I've heard that too.
Yep. And speaking of,
Butch
nope,
Reed.
no. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wait, there's ST.
You kidding me? I got this guy out here. This is one I
Yes,
rarely show
ST.
off. SD Special Delivery Jones.
Yeah,
Iron Mike Sharp beat him in a match. So,
yeah.
yep. See who else I got in here.
I gotta ask, being from where you're from, oh, there's Bundy. Did you go see much wrestling back in the day when it came through?
No, I did, although I did see Owen Hart wrestle though before he passed.
So were you around with some of the territories back in the day? Like
No, no, I wish I could have. I wish
yeah,
I
I
could have.
know like the one that Dino Bravo had in Montreal. That one's always interesting to me. Oh, the hammer.
Greg the Hammer
Nice.
Valentine. Yep. Like I've got a bunch of these, you know. Speaking of Valentine, come on, there was a big feud between him and Valentine.
Morocco.
No,
It looks like Morocco. I don't know. Some
no.
of these are kind of hard to
Well,
tell.
I'll give you a hint. This guy took the Intercontinental title off Morocco, and he took the Intercontinental title off Valentine.
Ah, Tito.
Tito, there you go.
Yeah.
He took a few belts away. Yeah, I've got a
That's
bunch
cool.
of these. Yep,
Oh,
yep.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I gotta hit the road in about 15 minutes here, but yeah, I can still talk for a little bit.
We got to talk about your movies, so that's what we'll do. We'll go down to your movies. Let me see. I know there was what was it here that I was going to bring up, and I can't even remember which one it was. There was one.
Was it a sequel?
I know there was people in it that I was familiar with, and I was gonna.
Oh man, I could list some of them. The Zombie Part 8,
Oh, Zombie
or
Part.
yeah, I didn't even know that there was 6, 7, but yeah, it's in Zombie 8. Rattlers Part 2.
Oh, you worked with
Uh,
Brink Stevens was in that.
I didn't work in that scene with her because she kind of did her own thing. But yeah, I've worked with her on a few things. She's always awesome. Very cool.
And of course, there's yeah, Zombie A had Julie Prescott in it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
it's kind of funny because some of the scenes are filmed separately.
yeah.
So on certain days, you're working with certain people,
Hmm.
and other days are different people doing their scenes. So it's not always together. But I'd say one of the coolest ones was working with Tom Sizemore recently.
Oh, what'd you work with him on?
It was a like a giant ape movie. And
Okay.
yeah, and I did a scene with him where I'm a security guard and they're like sabotaging the lab or something like that. But Tom was cool to work with. He was very professional. I mean, he was asking like, "All right, where do you need me?" And he would do it, and then he would actually ask to kind of look at it and see if he could do it better. So I mean, that was cool. It was cool working with him.
Well, out of these films, pick two or three that you want to go into a little detail here. What would you recommend I watch that you've done?
Uh, Zombie A, that was a fun one for me.
Okay. Why was that a fun
Yeah,
one?
I just really enjoyed it. Some of the people that I worked with and kind of the camaraderie that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part where we're driving and literally we put the camera on the dash, put the mic there, and just started messing around. And I think there's only one or two lines of actual scripted dialogue, but we sat there just like riffing off each other, improvising for the whole trip, which is maybe a half hour. So there's a lot of footage, and we just kind of brought it back to the director, Dustin Ferguson, who's good friend of mine. He's
You've worked with him a lot.
yeah. When I first moved here, he started to use me, and he's put me in a lot of his stuff, and I'm very thankful for that because he's the one who first got me kind of living my dream of acting. Like, there's been a lot of dreams I've fulfilled. Hell, one of them is living here in Hollywood. Like, if I told 18-year-old me, hey, you're going to be living in Hollywood and doing movies, I never would have believed it. Not in a million years. And I have a lane to thank for living here in Hollywood. And I have Dustin to thank for putting me in the movies and give me a break. And he still uses me in a lot of his stuff to this day. And it's always fun. I always have fun doing those movies.
Okay. What else do you recommend you do? Next year around this time, I'll probably have you back again and we can go into more detail, but
Yeah,
give me
very
something
cool.
else, give me some other stuff to look into. So you said Zombie 8. What else do you recommend that you've done?
I did Rattlers Part 2. That was
Rattlers
fun.
Part 2. Now talk about that. I love snakes, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that was fun. We kind of filmed that in the country and the hillsides around Temecula. So
Mm-hmm.
that was fun just being on location. Like I was saying, just the people I work with, that's the best part of it. And we just have a lot of fun when we get together. And the one that I was showing you earlier is that one. And there's several titles for it. And
Well, this
One
one
of
here
them,
had Brink Stevens, Donna Lee Heising, Julie Prescott,
which one?
Rattlers too.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from the Dustin Ferguson projects, I've like I said, I was in a couple of mob movies. Um, one was Frankie's Redemption,
Okay.
and that was the one where I so violently threw myself against the wall in my death scene. And there's another one that I did where I was killed by a maid in disguise. Um, yeah, I was a scumbag drug dealer, which I seem to play those parts very well. So whether it be a mobster or like a drug dealer or just things like that, douchebag in general. I seem to get a lot of parts like that. Um, apparently, I'm good at it, being a
when you,
douchebag.
when are you gonna do a movie with Eileen?
Uh, I don't know. Anytime.
Yeah. Did you ever see? You must have seen My Bloody Valentine with her in it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Um, actually, we lost one of the main actors yesterday, sadly.
Oh,
Yeah, Paul Kelman, who sorry, I'm
yeah.
plugging this in. Okay, come on. Okay, it's kind of dying on me here. Yeah, Paul Kelman, who played TJ in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, sadly he passed away yesterday. So that's several people from the original that are gone now, sadly.
mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
yeah, that was always one of my favorites. And it was
Well,
kind of
Eileen,
funny because I have
yeah.
a lot of horror tattoos. Like I've got Nosferatu right there, Dark Knight of the Scarecrow right there. Um,
Where's your My Little Pony one?
yeah, it's Hello Kitty. It's funny because I got this years ago actually. I have the miner right there.
There you go.
I have the miner and Cropsy from the burning right underneath him. So I I still want to get one from Terror Train. Um, a lot of different ones. The Prowler, that's another one that I want to get too. So just gotta get to that point where I'll get some more tats.
If I
I'm sure
had
I
a
will.
if I had a horror tattoo, I think it would be Zoe Temerla's Lum from Miss 45.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if I was to get a tattoo.
Yeah, that'd be a good one for sure.
Yeah. Another person, did you interview Sandy Johnson from Halloween? Because she'd be an awesome person to talk to.
I did not interview her, but I met her at her first convention.
Is she a delight or what?
Yeah, she's cool. And David Kyle was there too, who played the boyfriend in that. And funny thing about Halloween is I drive past Haddonfield all the time. So I drive by the Myers house,
Mm-hmm.
Lori's house. Sometimes I just stop and walk around the neighborhood because it really is a nice neighborhood over in South Pasadena. So, and that's one of the cool things about living here in LA is that there's all of these different horror locations. And I actually started up my own business a while back, and that's Hollywood Horror Tours. So give a shout out for that here. But I take people around to all the horror filming locations.
Do you know
Um,
Sean Clark?
I do.
Yep.
He's I do trivia, horror trivia every month, and he's on an opposing team. And anytime I see him, I'm like, oh crap, like because he gives me a run for my money
Yeah, I've
in
had him
terms
on here
of
a couple times. Yeah.
yeah. But if there's somebody who can match me in horror trivia, it's Sean Clark for sure. But
Well,
yeah, I take people. I start just up the road at the house on Haunted Hill, which
Okay.
actually I could see from my front porch, which is pretty cool. And then I go out to a little town called Sierra Madre, which has like the bar from Halloween 3, and I'll stop there for people so that they could have a drink there. And the church from the Fog, and I go to Castle Green where they film Puppet Master, and go down through South Pasadena, which is Haddonfield. I even stop at the Garbage Day neighborhood from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Garbage
Yeah,
Day.
yeah, and oh God, the Prince of Darkness Church, um, Tales from the Hood, Thriller, um, People Under the Stairs. So I hit a lot on those tours, and so yeah, if anybody ever wants to take a tour, just look me up on Facebook or look up my page, Hollywood Horror Tours.
I gotta
So
do that.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I do quite a bit. I mean, I have my books. I
How
still
much are
make
your
appearances,
books?
promote them.
I need to get those books. How much are those?
You can find them on Amazon for $25,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes directly through me, so my store is there on Amazon. And yeah, yeah, I make appearances. I just did one this last weekend at a wrestling show, and actually got beat up by XPW's Homeless Jimmy, who's been around a long time, but he didn't appreciate me interrupting him. So yeah, he kind of beat me up, and which wouldn't have been so bad, but then he tore one of my books in half. So I'm still a little bit pissed about that one. You
You
can beat
ever
me up all you want, just don't touch my books.
have you ever met Jim Cornette?
I want to, because it's kind of funny. Every morning I listen to him on my way to work. I work at a school actually in special ed, and
Okay, it's a good place to listen to him.
well, I have a morning commute from Hollywood to Montebello, which is about 30 minutes on a good day. Could be farther depending on traffic, but it's always fun to listen to Cornette rant while
Especially
I'm in my
about
morning commute.
Vince Russo. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
Oh my goodness. There's one rant I always listen to where he said he'd like to take a baseball bat and bash his brains in or bash his head in to the point where his brain splatter worse than a hand grenade going off into a jello factory. And I'm like, where did he come up with that? That is
man,
deep anger. I mean,
that is somebody I want to meet in person. That if yeah, that is somebody I would actually want to ride with on the road, just so I could hear him rant.
oh, well, you know the names to bring up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, but you and Aline should do a Doubtfire Face challenge together. By the way, Sandy
Yeah.
Johnson did one, and
Oh, cool.
her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers.
Oh, that's really cool.
He put the pie in her face, and one of the people he nominated Nick Castle, PJ Souls, and Felissa Rose. I met Felissa Rose at Frightmare in the Falls, and I showed her Sandy's pie in the face video, and Felissa was just so happy to be part of it. I don't think she's done it yet, but she did tell me when she does do it, she's going to do it with her nominees, and she's going after Dave Sheraton, Alex Vincent, and Christine Elise.
That's cool.
Yep.
I'll have to check this out when they're up.
Yep. I've got a playlist of them on YouTube. So I just put Lauren Me Taylor on there. So she was nice enough to do it. Yeah. Just
Very
don't ask
cool.
Judy, because Judy won't do it. How disappointing.
Well, I gotta get going here in just a minute, because man, it was fun talking to you, but I gotta be up at 6 in the morning
What
to
for?
make that morning commute for my job
Yeah.
at the school. Yeah. So
Well, somebody has a message for you.
oh yeah, who's that?
You jabroni.
Oh, the Sheik.
You, you not trained wrestler. I'll put you in the kettle clutch and make you humble.
He's probably pissed that I'm getting out of here early.
He's the Iron Sheik. I remember Princess Victoria when I interviewed her. She knows I was taking these wrestlers out, and I showed. And she goes, you wouldn't happen to have George Clooney in here, would you? And I said, I got something better. And I held this figure up. She just held her head.
Oh, that's great. That's
Oh, it was
great.
wonderful. I loved her in Velvet McIntyre back in the day, and yeah. Well, you know what? It was wonderful having you on here, and
Thank
special
you.
thank you for Ellen UD for hooking this up because
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I wasn't familiar with you, but I'm one of these people. I'll interview anybody, because I want to know the story. But I mean, I mentioned to Bobby Heckman. Bobby Heckman mentioned you, and when he's mentioned your books, I'm interested in your books. What are they called again?
They're well, let me get that one up. Wish
Yeah,
I had a
show
copy
it
of the
off.
first one. Slash Dreams and Slash Dreams Part 2. The
So
first
they're
one is the ultimate guide to slasher movies, and Part 2 is The Nightmare Continues.
you,
And they're both on Amazon right now. So if you look them up, Slash Dreams book, not the movie, but yeah, you could find those on there. And what else? Yeah, if you if people just want to follow me on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
it'll give a lot of updates on things I'm doing as far as wrestling or um, the books, or there's a couple of scripts that I'm working on right now, and I'm working on another book which is about my dad, because I grew up. It could be a lot of material for another show with you, but
Yeah,
I grew up
I'll
in the
have you
funeral
back. I'll
business.
have you back.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's another thing. I grew up in the funeral business, which probably says a lot about my love of horror. And
Did you know the
yeah, my
Undertaker?
my dad is the Undertaker. And
Mark
yeah,
Calloway, you mean?
no, not that one. The real Undertaker. And yeah, I used to ride with him on the road when I was a kid and listen to his stories about the crazy things that he's seen in the funeral business. And I just decided to start writing them down. And that's a book that I've been working on as kind of a tribute to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's his life. And there's a lot of great stories. And there's not a lot of books out there about the inside look into the funeral business, especially growing up in it as a kid. So I've got from my point of view, from my dad's point of view, from my mom's point of view, having to put up with it for 40 years. So yeah, that's the next book I'm working on. But yeah, people follow me on Facebook. You can find stuff, a lot of updates on the wrestling. I'm wrestling quite a bit here on the SoCal scene. But before I came down here, I was on the excuse me, on the Canadian scene from Western Canada for about 5 years.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if we do another interview coming down the road, we could have a lot more to talk about for sure.
Oh, I'll have you back. I'll have you back. But
Awesome.
I should have you and Ellen come on here together and do the pie challenge.
Yeah, I'm down.
You know.
Just count me in and let me know when.
All right, all right. I'll talk to her and yeah, yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah. Well, you get a good friend in her. She is awesome. She is so awesome. And yeah,
Definitely.
I'll have you back. Absolutely. You know.
Awesome. Thank
Next,
you. It's
next,
been fun talking with you.
next time you're back, I expect that you've been humbled by the Iron Sheik. That's
I'll
your
let you
homework.
know.
That's your homework. You got to be humbled by the Iron Sheik.
Definitely. I'll let you know.
Well, before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
Sure, definitely. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been a lot of fun here. So I just gotta say, definitely check out more of Greg Gilbert's podcasts. Great
Python's
stuff.
Paradise. Yes.
Python's
Absolutely.
Paradise. That's right.
Yeah. We've been talking to Ronnie Angel, and when he comes back next year this time, I'll put you on the next year's roster. He's going to be
Awesome.
humbled by the Iron Sheik. In fact,
Let's see what happens.
if I can arrange it, if I ever meet the Iron Sheik, I'll see if he could do it on a Zoom. Humble you right there.
Sounds good.
All they have to do is put a Killer Bee outfit on you, and
Oh God.
he'll really humble you then.
I'm dead. I'm freaking dead.
Thank you so much for coming on here tonight. This has been
Yeah.
wonderful. I'm happy to meet you, and
You too. Thank you for having me.
yeah, and we'll keep in touch. And yeah, I'll have you back, absolutely. And I got to
Sounds
order
good.
those books. I've got to get copies of those. So
Definitely. Awesome.
all
Yeah,
right,
keep me posted on that.
all right. You take care and God bless.
You too. Have a good night. Thank you.
Bye bye.